Welcome to Reviews That Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
I'm Blair.
Blair, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Yourself?
I am good. I am very busy and I am very warm.
I am hot, man.
Oh my God. We are enduring yet another heat wave, but we're getting through it. Slowly but surely, we're getting through it.
It's a struggle, man.
Oh, it's brutal. We're officially on to our fourth film of the month of July, aka Tom Savini Appreciation Month. And we have a classic film from a classic franchise to chat about today. A film we watched just last night during our latest watch party, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. It was good.
Before we chat about this week's episode, though, what do you say we chat a little bit about some horror news?
This is horror news.
Blairski, you want to kick this one off?
Yeah, so it is official. Alien Romulus will run just under 2 hours with a total runtime of 1 hour and 59 minutes. But on top of that news, the final trailer for the new Alien movie has dropped, and it looks absolutely fantastic. So if the entire runtime is anything like that trailer is, I'm all for it. I'm all for it, man.
I've only seen one trailer from this movie, and I think it was the second one. And I've decided
you saw the teaser trailer, and
I decided I'm not going to watch any more trailers before I see this movie. I want to go in cold. I want to go in completely surprised and beyond excited for this movie.
Well, let me tell you, the final trailer looks absolutely fantastic, man. It looks so good.
I can only imagine.
Jesse, have you ever seen any of the Collector movies? I.e. The Collector or The Collection?
I don't think I have.
Fantastic movies, great slasher movies. They're announcing a third film for the trilogy called The Collected.
Oh, okay.
It's definitely been greenlit. There's no news on actual release date or what the plot's going to be about or anything like that. But The Collected has officially been greenlit, which is awesome. I mean, for me, Rachel's a huge fan of the series, so nice. Really stoked on that. Final piece of horror news to talk about with you, Jesse, and the listeners is I saw Longlegs.
He did it.
I went and saw Longlegs. Now, I'll keep this short and sweet and spoiler free. It is a good movie.
Okay.
The acting is phenomenal, and it was shot really, really cool.
Yeah.
Bit of a slow burn. I would say it might have been overhyped a little bit, this movie.
Interesting.
And I saw Maxine and Longlegs within a week of each other.
Yeah.
And both me and Rachel agree Maxine is the better movie.
Did we chat about Maxine yet? I can't remember if we did last episode.
We might have chatted a little bit last episode about Maxine, I think.
Nice. A fun movie. I have not seen Longlegs, but I am excited to check it out.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I just feel like it was overhyped just a little bit. I definitely enjoyed Maxine better, but
fair enough.
Good movie. And Nicolas Cage, fantastic.
That's what I'm excited for in this movie is to see, and I'm not the biggest Nicolas Cage fan, but I'm excited to see him in a role like this.
Yeah, it was a really cool role, very creepy. And Maika Monroe, the lead in the movie, absolutely fantastic as well. The acting excellent. Really good in this movie, yeah.
Good to hear. I've got a couple pieces of horror news. This is not necessarily horror related, but instead of seeing Longlegs yesterday, me and my better half went and saw Twisters.
Okay.
And we sat in the D-box seats because we figured even if the movie's not good, let's go and experience the D-box seats for a movie like Twisters, where they'll be put to the full force. And let me tell you, those D-box seats in a movie like Twisters, I mean, it takes you to the edge. It's pretty wild. Not only that, the movie was just a ton of fun.
I've actually heard nothing but good things about that movie so far.
I've been to less than a handful of movies where people clap at the end,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm always really happy when people do. I think more people should clap at movies,
Yeah.
and a bunch of people were clapping at the end of this one, which is great.
Right on, man. It makes me want to see it. I loved the original. I
Yeah,
was kind of on the fence about this one, but
see it.
I've heard nothing but good things. So yeah, I should probably check that out.
Highly recommended. And if you are going to see it, watch it in the D-Box seats.
D-Box, okay.
Yeah. Okay, now back to horror news. We, like you had mentioned, we are less than a month away until the newest installment to the Alien franchise, Alien Romulus, releasing to theaters August 16th. And they're getting into the ever popular popcorn bucket game.
Well, they
Blairski, we saw pictures of this earlier this
Yeah.
week. Cinemark Theater released an image of the bucket, and it's shaped like a xenomorph head. This thing is incredible.
It looks so badass. I'm hoping we get something like that at our theaters. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, we always struggle to get these like ever so. I know the last kind of popcorn bucket. I mean the Ghostbusters one was
Yeah.
super popular, and then
Yeah.
of course the Dune one was all that people were talking about for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But I never remember seeing them at theaters near us, which
No.
is unfortunate. But this thing, this xenomorph head, looks fantastic.
We'll sometimes get those collector cups,
Yeah,
if anything, or posters, but we don't really get popcorn buckets.
nothing fun.
No.
No. And then finally, San Diego Comic-Con, arguably the biggest comic convention in the world, is bringing a really cool pop-up experience to fans of the zombie classic Shaun of the Dead
Oh, right on.
in honor of the movie's 20-year release, which is also crazy because
That's
it
wild.
feels like it was just came out yesterday. They're bringing a recreation of the Winchester Tavern.
Right on.
I didn't read if they were selling drinks there or selling bags of crisps. But yeah,
I sure hope both.
yeah, but a recreation of the Winchester Tavern. It'll be open to the public starting July 25th and will run until July 28th. I'm not sure how long San Diego Comic-Con runs for. I feel like it runs for at least 10 days.
Oh, wow.
I could be wrong, but this particular exhibit runs from the 25th to the 28th this week, end of the week. Pretty cool.
Well, that's pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome.
Absolutely. That's all I have for horror news. What do you say we jump into this week's episode? The 4th episode in Tom Savini Appreciation Month goes to 1984's Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Runtime on this one, 1 hour, 31 minutes. Blairski, initial thoughts on the runtime?
Right in the wheelhouse. It's
Yeah,
there.
you had mentioned during the watch party, wow, this is a really short movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I felt like it dragged at parts.
It did,
We'll get into it.
definitely did, but for some reason it finished really quick on me.
It did finish really quick. Yeah. We'll chat about that. But before then, let's chat about some fun facts on this one. Blairski, you got some fun facts for Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Fun facts. Facts that are fun.
Well, believe it or not, this was actually supposed to be the final chapter.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be the last Jason movie they would ever make, which is why Tom Savini returned for this film, as he wanted to help kill off Jason, whom he helped create in the first one.
Yeah.
I think they made 6 more movies after this, plus a remake of it. So definitely not the last film.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. By I think the mid 80s, the whole slasher craze had kind of died out, and they weren't doing very well.
No,
Well, I mean,
it
this
really
one-
died out until 96 when Scream came out.
Yeah, it kind of rejuvenated the genre. Yeah.
This movie was released on Friday, April 13th, which is fitting.
Excellent.
Upon release on a $2.2 million budget, this film made $33 million in the box office in the USA alone.
Unbelievable.
So made a massive amount of money.
Yeah.
Finally, the character Tommy's interest in makeup effects, including his mask collection, served only as an homage to Tom Savini himself.
Yeah, go figure.
Yeah.
Apparently, and we kind of see flashes of it, but I think he was supposed to be like a mechanically inclined kid. I think there was
Okay.
supposed to be a scene with him building a microwave,
Mhm.
and you even see it in portions of the movie where he's fixing lights and he's trying to fix a car at one point. So mechanically inclined.
Yeah, for sure. And apparently made all those masks when we all know those are Tom Savini's masks. 100%.
Unbelievable,
Yeah.
unbelievable masks. I've got a couple here in the notorious Crispin Glover dance scene.
Yeah.
He was actually dancing to AC/DC's Back in Black.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah. Yeah. Love is a Lie, which is the song that we hear in the movie, was dubbed in after the fact.
Okay.
But yeah, Dancing to Back in Black, which I don't know if that makes that dance better or worse.
It's Crispin Glover. It's great either way.
I guess so. Ted White, who played Jason Voorhees, was the oldest actor ever to play the role. He was 58 years old at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
The workout video that Axel is watching near the beginning of the movie
Yeah.
is called Aerobicize.
Okay.
Cool. And then finally, our good pal Roger Ebert from Roper and Ebert called the movie an immoral and reprehensible piece of trash.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, it's kind of on brand for his reaction to a lot of classic horror movies.
Yeah.
That's all I have for this one. Let's chat about the fine folks who worked on this film, starting off with director Joseph Zito. We talked about him last episode. He also directed 1981's The Prowler, 1984's Missing in Action, 1980's Blood Rage, and 2003's Power Play. Written by Ron Kurz, also wrote 1980's Friday the 13th, 1981's Friday the 13th Part 2, and 1983's Off the Wall. And then also written by Martin Kittrosser, also wrote Friday the 13th Part 3, 1984's Meatballs Part 2, and 1991's Silent Night, Deadly Night 5,
Okay.
The Toy Maker.
What?
That's a lot of Silent Night, Deadly Nights.
I didn't know there was so many.
Goodness gracious. Let's talk about the fine folks who acted in this movie. There are a ton of them, so I'm only going to go over a handful of names here. Of course, starring the legend Corey Feldman as Tommy, also starting in 1986's Stand By Me, 1987's The Lost Boys, 1985's The Goonies, 1989's The Burbs, 1990's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and 1984's Gremlins, just to name a few. Crispin Glover as Jimmy, also starred in 2000's Charlie's Angels, 1993's What's Eating Gilbert Grape, 1984's Back to the Future, and 1991's The Doors, just to name a few. Also starring Judy Aronson as Samantha, starred in 1985's Weird Science and 1985's American Ninja.
Okay.
Blairski, you ever see American Ninja?
Warrior? American Ninja
Nope.
Warrior?
Just American Ninja, period.
Oh, nope. No, I have not.
Nope. No, me neither. Also starring Kimberly Beck as Trish, starred in 1991's Adventures in Dinosaur City, 23 episodes of the TV series Capital, and 1976's Massacre at Central High. And then finally, Ted White as Jason, starred in 1984's Romancing the Stone, and did stunts for a plethora of big name movies. Some include 1989's Roadhouse, 1993's Robin Hood Men in Tights, 1986's Short Circuit, 1981's Escape from New York, 1986's Planet of the Apes, 1956's Giant, which was James Dean's last movie, and 1954's Creature from the Black Lagoon. What a career.
What a resume. Yeah, man. Quite the stunt man.
Absolutely. Apparently, him and Tom Savini did not get off to a good start until Ted White heard that Tom Savini also did stunt work, and then they became closer.
Then they had something in common. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Synopsis for 1984's Friday the 13th, the final chapter, courtesy of our dear friends at IMDb. After being announced dead and taken to a morgue, Jason Voorhees spontaneously revives, escapes from the hospital, and stalks a group of friends renting a house in the countryside near Crystal Lake. Yep.
Yeah, that's it. And it sounds very similar to the premise of Halloween 2.
That's honestly, and we'll get into the plots of this franchise in a bit, but I mean that's it.
There's not
That's
much to
it.
it. No.
That's even more detailed than I think a lot of the movie. Anyways, this leads us to kill count.
Kill count. The time of the show we count the kills.
Blairski, I'm sure we have a relatively large kill count for Friday the 13th, the final chapter. What do we got?
Are you ready for it?
I am.
13.
No way. Okay,
Yeah.
excellent.
So Jason kills 13 people. If you want to count Jason's death at the end, then it's 14, but we all know he's already dead anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, 13, man. Kill count of 13.
Excellent. I wonder if they did that on purpose.
Quite possibly.
Oh, goodness. Good lead into our next segment, likes and dislikes.
Likes, dislikes, likes, dislikes, and everything in between.
The portion of the show where we chat about what we liked, what we didn't like, and everything in between. Blairski. Where do we start with these kills? I mean,
so the kills were good for the most part. There were some really good ones. The first couple were awesome.
Yep.
The kills in the bathroom were pretty cool. Now, what upset me is I know for a fact that they cut a lot of the practical effects and makeup that Tom Savini did in this movie because for some reason they wanted to go the direction of more psychological horror, which doesn't make sense for a Friday the 13th movie to me. I want to see that gore and I want to laugh at those deaths and
especially when you have Tom Savini on board.
Right, exactly. So the kills were good, but they could have been better, I think.
That's the thing with this being like the anticipated final film in the franchise. Wouldn't you want to go absolutely all out? I
mean, I would if it was my movie, right?
I felt like a lot of the kills were a little repetitive. It was a lot of, especially earlier on, it was a lot of stabbing deaths that came out of nowhere. Yeah. But then there were some really cool ones. There was a cool corkscrew one, or one that involved a corkscrew. There was one, like you said, in the bathroom. There was one with a hacksaw right at the beginning. Yeah, so there were a lot of really cool kills, a lot of originality. And from those kills, we did see excellent work from Tom Savini as per usual.
Oh, for sure. But there was more. And we just didn't get to see it. It was
filmed. Give us more. I'm curious if there's a director's cut out there with these scenes.
I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I had some bonus. I watched it. I know we had a watch party, but I watched it on DVD because I own it. And there's a whole bunch of bonus features, and there are deleted scenes. Some of those deleted scenes don't even have the audio anymore. But as far as I know, there's not an actual director's cut.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. We love our intros. We talk about it every time. We talk about how much we love our intros. And I'd like to hear what you thought about the intro on this one. I thought it was a perfect setup.
Well, you know what? I think they do that for every single Friday the 13th movie, where they kind of recap from the very beginning to, up to that point. So if it's Friday the 13th part 6, they're going to recap the last 5 movies. And in this case, they recap the last 3 movies. I love it though, especially if you're someone who maybe hasn't seen any of the other ones before. It gets you up to date real quick.
Yeah. I also like that it picks up, it kind of pulls a Halloween 2, where it picks up right where the last movie finishes off.
Like immediately after.
Yeah. Which I really, really like. I mean, exactly the same as Halloween 2, where it picks up right at the end of the first one.
And as I said already, kind of same premise, where he goes to the hospital, same as Mike Myers. He comes back to life in the hospital, same as Mike Myers, kills everyone in the hospital, and then returns to where he came from, same as Mike Myers. It's the exact same premise.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's a slasher movie. It clearly has a formula. Yeah. And this one, it follows the formula. It doesn't have a great script.
No, it does not.
It's very predictable. But then again, we don't like the slasher genre in particular. We don't go to a slasher movie for the dialogue or at least for good dialogue or for outstanding performances. We go for, in this one in particular, we go for Jason.
Yeah.
We go for the kills.
Yeah.
And we go for nudity. Like that is
nudity.
that's kind of the formula for a slasher movie, and they all kind of have all of those elements,
or funny dialogue, which this movie kind of lacked that as well.
I agree, and which is a shame because it had a lot of character potential where it was kind of a lot of goofier characters, and a lot of the dialogue just kind of fell flat. I mean, I thought the outstanding performance came from Corey Feldman, who was, I don't know, 9-10 years old when he made this movie.
I think he was 9 when he made this movie. I've got that written as well. Like the acting was fine in this movie. There's nothing spectacular except for Corey Feldman and of course Crispin Glover. I absolutely love him. So
Crispin Glover being the oddball that he is.
Yeah, it's great. It's just great having him there.
I honestly think that this movie needed more Jason.
It did. It did need more Jason.
And there was a lot of it. Obviously, we have 13 kills, but I felt like there was, and it's only an hour and a half long, but I felt like there was giant periods of time where it was dialogue or situations that I did not care about because I just wanted to see Jason.
No, I think they were trying to build these characters, but who cares? Who cares? They're
Why
going to die anyway.
Why focus on building these characters it's fine. We hate them already.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to make them more despicable. We know that they're already degenerates. Just start with the killing.
What did you think of the Jason in this one? So for me, I do prefer a quicker, more relentless Jason, a fast-paced Jason, which is what this one was. So I did like that. What were your thoughts on it?
I thought it was great. I mean, obviously we have the classic hockey mask Jason. I think this is kind of the Jason that most people think of when they think of Jason. Not my favorite Jason. I really do like pre-hockey mask Jason. I love Jason in Friday the 13th Part 2.
It's like my favorite one. Yeah.
Yeah. I just love that it's kind of simplified, but as I thought Jason was fine. I thought he had, superhuman strength. We see him toss numerous people, several feet.
Yeah.
And then, really, really quick, which I think makes him that much more terrifying. And of course, we get the classic machete. We get the classic hockey mask. But not my favorite Jason.
No, I'd agree. I agree with you. I really like Part 2 Jason with the burlap sack or the potato bag over his head or whatever it is.
Honestly, I guess my hot take is cool as the hockey mask is, and as iconic as the hockey mask is, there's something that's so much more terrifying about just a burlap sack.
Just a bag over your head with not two eye holes, one single eye hole.
It just seems so unprepared, and it's just like, well, I'm going to just grab this thing.
Yeah.
It's, less of a character piece where it's like, obviously the hockey mask is iconic.
Yeah, that's what everyone knows, right?
You throw on that hockey mask and you could just be wearing that hockey mask and somebody's going to say, oh, Jason.
Yeah.
They're going to know right away.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. I thought it was enjoyable. I thought it followed the formula. I thought it wasn't anything new, anything special. They didn't really try to go outside the box, which I think was the downfall. Again, especially if they were going to consider this one the final entry in the franchise.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you holding back? Like, go all out.
Yeah.
Especially if the movie only cost, what was it, $2.2 million?
2.2, and as I said, they made over 33 million in the US alone. So they had money to work with. They did. Yeah,
cut the cast in half and give more screen time to Jason.
Yeah.
That's all we want.
That's all we want. Jason. The whole reason, you're right. The whole reason you watch a Friday the 13th movie in general is for Jason.
Yeah. It's the same. It's the same reason we watch Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah.
We want to see Leatherface. Same reason we watch Halloween. We want to see, Halloween's a little different. We obviously want to see Jamie Lee Curtis, but If Jamie Lee Curtis isn't on screen, then we're just as happy with Michael Myers.
That's right.
Like we want to see
right.
Ghostface. This is what makes a franchise. Give us more of it.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Agree.
This movie kind of left me confused in a lot of places. There was a lot of unanswered questions, and it just kind of felt a little bit odd. It was a weird movie.
It is a weird movie. It is weird. And that's not the first time I've heard that either from somebody. It is an odd movie.
It feels like I lost the plot a few times, which is a little bit crazy since there's not a huge plot in this one.
No, and I also don't really know how at the end of the movie, Corey Feldman's character knew that if he was to cut his hair and try and look like a young Jason, it would work. You know what I mean? I don't even know where he could pick that up from.
Well, it's kind of the same to part one, is it not? Where character almost tries to portray Pam Voorhees.
Yeah, same idea.
But who knows? Corey Feldman saves the day. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it too.
Yeah. Anything else you really liked about this one? Anything you're on the fence about, or anything you just really did not like?
Yeah, well, we've talked about the story or lack thereof. We've talked about the script or lack thereof, the dialogue or lack thereof. I've covered everything, man.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move along, shall we?
Let's do it.
This leads us to our next segment, one of our favorites, lessons we learned from watching 1984's Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Lessons we learned from watching. Insert title of movie here.
The segment of the show where we talk about the valuable life lessons we learned from watching said movie Blairski.
Yeah, buddy.
Did you learn a single darn thing from watching Friday the 13th, the final chapter?
Just two. So I learned that skinny dipping, although sounding fun, is not always the best idea, especially when given certain situations, like the possibility of certain creatures lurking in the depths below, such as piranhas, sharks, and Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, leeches, homicidal maniacs. Yeah, take your pick.
The list goes on.
Take your pick.
Finally, I learned the morgue, also known as the cold room in hospitals, is an excellent place for sex, watching movies, and eating sandwiches.
Yeah, who'd have thunk, right?
Right.
It's like a birthday party in there. Goodness gracious. I learned a few things here. If we didn't already know this, but Camp Crystal Lake is jinxed.
Yeah, don't go there.
Also learned, don't pick up glass with your bare hands. I learned that Crispin Glover is quite the dancer.
He is.
It was mentioned during the watch party last night that he danced like an orchestra conductor being electrocuted.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great. The perfect description.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, I think that was from Aziz. Great description. Yeah. If you're in a group, stay in a group. Mm-hmm. Safety in numbers.
That was also mentioned by somebody in the watch party. It's like, why is everyone separating themselves from the group?
Stupid. Two more things here. Jason Voorhees has a hell of a throw. Mm-hmm. And finally, a goalie mask will stop just about anything. Unlike a burlap sack. This leads us to another one of our favorite segments, Line of the Night.
Line of the Night. Line of the Night. Line of the Night. Line of the Night. Line of the Night. Line of the Night. Line of the Night. Line of the Night. Line of the Night.
The segment of the show where we discuss our favorite lines from the movie. They might give us the chills. They might give us the giggles. All we know is that they are our favorites. Blairski. What do you got for the line of the night?
I got a couple. First one is said by Axel when he's kind of getting it on with the nurse in the cold room, as I just mentioned. Yeah. Jason's hand falls off the bed and falls on Alex. And he yells, Jesus, Christmas, holy Jesus, goddamn, holy Jesus, jumping Christmas shit. I can't remember if that's Axel or the nurse that says it, but I thought it was hilarious.
Goodness gracious.
In that same scene, the nurse says to Axel, She calls them a Super Bowl of self-abuse.
Yeah, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know, but I thought it was hilarious.
Well,
And then finally, Corey Feldman to his mom after watching the group of teenagers skinny dipping says, "Some pack of patootsies, huh, Mom?"
yeah, I like
Which
that
thought
one.
was great too.
Some pack of patootsies.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. I got a couple more to add on to those. Ambulance driver right at the beginning says, all dead, some emergency.
Right.
Jimmy Crispin Glover says, hey, Ted, where the hell's the corkscrew? He would find out soon enough.
Yes, he would.
Rob says, he's killing me, which is a great line in a horror movie for somebody
Yeah.
to say. I love that line.
Yeah.
And then both Ted and Jimmy say on several occasions, dead fuck.
Dead fuck. They do.
Dead fuck.
They
Yeah.
do.
This leads us to our final segment of the show. Some might even say our favorite.
It's up there, top 5 probably.
Yeah, cannot be confirmed, but top 5. Celebrity lookalike time.
Celebrity lookalike time.
The time of the show where we take a look at the cast and discuss their celebrity doppelgangers. Spoiler alert, it usually comes down to the character's hairstyle, Blairski.
Yeah.
What do you got for celebrity lookalike time?
So I've got 3 here. The character Ted, he kind of reminded me of Henry Winkler as the Fonz in Happy Days.
Okay. Okay.
The character Tina, which is one of the twins, she reminded me of Tiffany Thiessen as Kelly in Saved by the Bell.
Okay.
And finally, the character Corey Feldman at the end of the movie. I know you said a good one for this, but I'm not taking it. But to me, at the end of the movie, when he cut all his hair off to look like young Jason, he reminded me of Smashing Pumpkins lead singer Billy Corgan.
Oh, goodness. Good one. Good one.
That's all I
I'm
got.
going to add on to that. The character Tommy at the end of the movie reminded me of Uncle Fester.
Yeah, you said that last night.
I got 2 more here. The character Teddy reminded me of Joe Strummer, lead singer of The Clash, for any music fans out there.
Okay.
And the character Rob reminded me of another Rob, Robbie Robertson, member of the band, The Band.
Okay. Okay.
Good old Canadian boy. Good old Canadian boy.
Okay.
This leads us to our final rating for Friday the 13th, the final chapter, Blairski. Out of 5, Crispin Glovers doing the latest internet dance craze. Out of 5, what are you giving Friday the 13th, the last chapter? Sorry, the final chapter.
Final chapter. It's tough, man. I love this whole series in general. But I don't know. The watch last night just didn't really cut it for me. I'm going to give it 2. Crispin Glover's doing the latest internet dance craze out of 5.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit higher, 2.5. Crispin Glover's doing the latest internet dance craze out of 5. It was fine.
It's fine.
It was a slasher movie that left you a little bit underwhelmed.
Yeah. Yeah. I just
Simple
feel
as
like
that.
going into it, I remembered it being one of my favorite in the franchise, but then I forgot about a couple real good ones, i.e. Part 2. And I remember Takes Manhattan being pretty good too.
You're a big fan of Jason X and Freddy versus Jason.
Freddy versus Jason is great.
Freddy versus, you love Jason X is your favorite though, yeah?
I'd have to rewatch it. I don't fully remember it, except it's in space.
What about Jason Goes to Hell?
Don't fully remember that one either, but I know in Jason X, there's one point where he looks less like Jason and more like Shredder from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, Shredder. Oh, goodness. Well, we only have one more film left of Tom
That's it,
Savini
man.
Appreciation Month.
That's it, man.
And then the craziness of August starts. We'll chat about that next episode.
Yeah.
But before then, this has been Reviews That Scares with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
I'm Blair. Remember to stay scary.
And eat every sandwich. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Reviews That Scare. Make sure you check out our Linktree at linktree/Reviews That Scare. That's linktr.ee/Reviews That Scare, which has links to our Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, Twitch, and many other things. If you'd like to email us, you can reach us at reviewsetscare@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and remember to stay scary and eat every sandwich.
A proud member of Pod Nation TV.